We have one last detail to wrap up the front facade, and that is our lights. We need to make some custom lighting blocks first and then go ahead and mount our lights, and then this will look like a real house from the outside.
We have 5 total garage door lights. We have 3 up front and then 2 by the side garage door. Initially, we weren't planning on putting 2 lights back there, but we realized it could be really dark if we don't. So we added those whenever we were doing some of the siding. In addition to the 5 larger lights next to the garage doors, we're also going to have several light fixtures on the back of the house next to our entry doors.
For those lights, we had pre-assembled blocks that we put up before we put the siding up, so that should be as simple as just mounting a light. On the south side where we have vinyl siding, we actually don't have any lights there because we didn't want to have to move them when it came time to do the addition, and we didn't want them in some awkward spot if by some chance the addition didn't touch where that light was going to be.
Let's get to it.
I used full depth junction boxes on these exterior lights so that I could get more than one wire in to continue the circuit. So they're pretty thick, and this is just a 3/4 inch piece of PVC here. The lighting block I need to make for this is going to be about 1 inch thick, so I'm just going to laminate 2 1/2-inch sheets of PVC to make that happen.
Luckily, we have plenty of scraps to make these lighting blocks. The plan is going to be, like Alex said, laminate them and then run them through the table saw to try to make that edge side as smooth as possible, and then we're going to paint it. If it doesn't look great, we may add like a little piece of trim around the whole thing, but that's what we're going to start with.
Cut the first 2 pieces a little bit oversized, and looking at it and just playing around with it, we were like, what if we did something like this? Add a little bit of pizzazz to it and offset the top sheet from the second one. I think we like how it looks. We mocked it up against the wall. I think we're gonna go with this little number here.
It looks really nice with that tiny little detail next to our garage door trim. If it were just a solid block, it looks a little bit modern and kind of out of place with the detail that we put next to the garage. So we're gonna try it out and see how it looks. Are you trying to get it so it completely matches? It's not, there's a big gap at the top.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you have flashing there?
There's flashing.
Maybe you should get the ladder out. This ladder was a Facebook Marketplace special. Alex picked it up and the wife said that the husband bought it and had never used it or something like that, right, Alex?
No, he thought it was a painter's ladder. And for some reason he was like, I can't use a painter's ladder. I'm too good for that. So this was, I think I paid $80 for it. These are like 150 to 200 in stores, I think. So pretty good deal. All right, give me that block. I think I just cut it a bit short, but.
I know, that's what I was thinking whenever you were holding it up. It looked like it. And then are you gonna have to use a circular saw to get that whole circle?
Can you get my hole saw ready?
Okay.
Find the one that most closely matches that.
Slightly larger if needed, or?
Slightly larger, but it can't be larger than the black escutcheon plate on the fixture.
Okay. I'll look at it. All right, so this is slightly larger. Is it too large? That's the question. Let me try the next size down. Yeah, that'll work. Here is our beautiful light fixture. We're going for kind of like a traditional / modern farmhouse look, and this kind of fits the bill exactly what we're looking for. So it has both the traditional and modern touch to it. But I don't know if my hole saw is going to be hidden or my hole will be small enough. Let's see. It will like barely hide it, Alex. It will barely hide it, but I think we're good.
Now we're ready to glue up. I marked 3/4 inch from the edge of the large one. I'm going to use the same AZEK glue that I've been using on the rest of the PVC. And then I got to think about where I can put fasteners in this, because there's only so much of this that's going to be hidden by the fixture itself. So I'm probably going to try to take some measurements off that thing, mock it up on here, and then that's where I know I can put a couple screws just to hold this thing together while it not only glues, but I can drill the main hole for the junction box.
It's kind of nice that there's that extra texture on the back. It'll help with the glue.
Side. Lightly.
It's the bottom. It doesn't really matter, does it? Brad, nail it where you can't see it. You want me to hold it?
Okay, you eyeball that side, I'll eyeball this side. Good?
It's kind of hard. It's good enough.
Hole saws aren't known for making the absolute cleanest holes, but definitely made it large enough, for sure.
Next time you should make it slightly larger because there's like a little gap at the top. It's just from far away it looks funny because there's that gap.
Where?
At the top. Or the flashiness.
What gap? What, this little thing?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna see no gap. Like that?
It's good. You might want to blow off the edge where the thing stuck on the glue.
Well, do you want to paint the edges or no? We're getting pretty creative for using up our scraps, but it's working out all right. This was a piece I pulled off the dormer because the freaking color was just not the same as all the rest of them for some reason, so had to pry it off. We formed an assembly line where Elena cleaned and painted the cut edges of the blocks, and then I assembled. Test fit looks good. I'm gonna fasten this with just a GRK cabinet screw, one in the top, one in the bottom, so they're still concealed under the escutcheon plate for the light, and then we can start wiring it up and get the light in. I measured from the center line of the box up and down on my escutcheon plate as well to make sure that these screws fell within that plate. Now let's tackle the wiring. This should be pretty easy. These are obviously both 14-2 wires. This is the first light in the series, so power's got to continue to the other two lights. So I'll strip the sheathing off these, install a pigtail, and I also need to remember this is a metal box, so the box needs to be grounded as well. So my ground will actually have 4 wires coming into it. This one, a jumper coming from the box here, and then another one that's going to go out to my fixture. Here's one done. We are ready for a fixture. Got our hot, neutral, and ground that's going to tie into the fixture. We are grounded to the metal box. Everything's tied together and pigtailed and tucked back up. I didn't mention in this video yet, but I sealed this electric box to the wall with zip liquid flash, and I also put some right here. So that's what you see coming in. That's not duct sealant, that's actually liquid flash. Does a really nice job of getting in and around the wires and sealing everything up. Now I just got to repeat that 4 more times for the other garage lights and 3 more times for the man doors. That sounds like a music montage. The wiring's done, the blocks are ready. It's finally time to get our light fixtures installed. Progress Lighting is the manufacturer. These are called the Walcott, and these are the large size. We actually have smalls for the back fixtures where the man doors are, large for the garage. Beautiful. Love how these things look. They're kind of like a touch of modern, but still sort of classic and farmhouse looking. We think they go perfectly with our front facade, and we will know for sure once they're all hung up. Actually, installing these seems like it's going to be a piece of cake. I'm just going to do a little test fit right now to see that my studs are an appropriate length, because they are adjustable. Comes with these little black acorn nuts that got to fit over top of the studs. So these can't be too long or else the nut won't go tight. Do I trust leaving this to hold by itself for a second while I grab those? No, I don't. It's a good thing I didn't. I gotta back these studs down by about 1/4 inch. That's as easy as just screwing the screw in, and then I'm going to tighten this little jam nut. Maybe that's a little bit too much. I want at least a few threads holding this thing on. It's an expensive light fixture. I'm gonna have to call Elaine out here to help hold this thing up while I actually get the wiring done. That looks good. Along with these little acorn nuts, they provided some rubber O-rings that will go and help seal that hole as well. Once we get this mounted, I think I'm going to take a really fine bead of caulk and run it around the top and sides just to guard against any additional water intrusion behind this fixture. All right, first step. Actually, first step is to strip these wires.
Those little black bugs like bite you. So itchy.
All right, so you're gonna have to hold this close enough that I can wrap this ground wire around it.
Is it close enough or too far away?
You're good. Just move it to the side. So the braided ground wire that they supply, I'm wrapping it around their little green screw on their bracket, tightening that up, and then I will wire nut that to the ground wire coming off of our box, and it's also pigtailed to the supply wires. Tuck that guy back in. I just gotta connect black to black and white to white.
Oh, okay.
Black is our hot, our power. White is our neutral. Also referred to as a grounded conductor. It's grounded, but it's supposed to be conducting electricity. Neutral is what completes the circuit. Hot supplies the power, neutral brings it back to ground.
Is it special type of nut you're using?
I'm using the nuts supplied with the fixtures.
Gotcha, I was wondering why they were orange.
They're a little bit smaller than my yellow ones. Yellow ones are rated for more wires and larger wires.
Gotcha.
This is just one little tiny braided wire to our 14 gauge solid copper. So
it's gonna be hard to fit those in there.
These don't need to necessarily. They're gonna see this escutcheon plate has got some room to it as well.
Those stink bugs poop all over this PVC. It's annoying.
I know.
It's gonna be hard to keep it clean.
All over all the siding. But you know what? That's just a fact of life, unfortunately. We're basically all tucked in there. Now you just have to set this on the pegs.
Okay, I'm on the left one.
I'm gonna go get the washers and the nuts. And there we go. One's up.
Do we need to make sure it's like level?
I mean, you can. The mount allows you to shift it a little bit.
Looks a little off level. Yeah, I was gonna say that left side looks like it's a little further down.
It rotates because it can't be super rigid because it's if the wind catches it, it's got to be able to rotate a little bit, right? Because this is going to be getting a lot of wind.
And that's purpose built like that?
Yeah.
It's because the plate is loose behind it.
You'll see the mount.
Yeah, the mount.
That's why the mount is a cross shape. They're only joined at the center where it rotates. What do you think, interior designer? Exterior designer, I should say.
It looks really good. I'm really happy. She's a fan. I'm really happy with the fixture. It fits the style, pretty much exactly what we're going for.
Looks beautiful.
What did the warning say?
It says if you're not an electrician, you wire this up, be prepared for a fire.
Oh my gosh. I guess we're screwed.
Yep.
Might as well quit while we're ahead. Okay, ready?
Yep. 1, 2 O-rings, 1, 2 acorn nuts. Standing back, our interior designer officially approves, and they are a fantastic scaling next to the garage. Any smaller, that would have looked kind of silly, so I'm really glad we got the large ones for the garage doors. Gorgeous. And coincidentally, it's basically the same thing we modeled up in Chief Architect, like, I don't know, 2 years ago now. They look almost identical to that. And who knew that would be exactly the one that we'd be picking. Thanks, Progress Lighting. Now we are on to the side garage door. It is really a nice, easy project hanging these lights compared to all the other sort of daunting tasks like siding those dormers or making these huge PVC corner boards. It feels good to finally have kind of like a nice, easy, sort of DIY feeling project, not like something we should probably be hiring a construction crew for, but we're too cheap to. All right,
okay.
Which side do you want to be on?
Whichever side's easier for you. Next time the inspector comes back, it's gonna look like a whole new house.
On the
He's
outside,
not gonna
anyway.
recognize it.
Well, it might be his employee. I don't think that would be that bad of a job. Problem is, it's just a lot of driving. Most of your time every day is spent driving, and that's what I did not like. I didn't even like driving an hour a day.
I'd rather be like a consultant, a marketing consultant or something.
I'd rather do exactly what we're doing
Or like
right
a
now.
business consultant. Everything's gonna need a major clean once we move in. There's so many of these black bugs everywhere. Uh-oh, there's a tick right there. Isn't that a tick?
Where? Is it cool? This little guy?
Don't touch it!
No, it's a spider. He's got a web. I don't think ticks do that, do they?
I don't know, but he looks like
That is not a tick. Ticks don't freaking extrude webs out there.
Look at his body, it's shaped like a tick.
Yeah.
Okay, he does look like a spider now.
Oh, okay. After he's dangled up 2 feet down on a web, you finally agree he's a spider?
He has the little arms like a tick, though.
He's a
Where'd you get that orange nut?
I'm not told about, girl.
Well, I got the orange ones in my pocket. That's why I was confused. How you got the orange ones?
Well, maybe I just did a little pickpocket action on you. Easy, schmeezy.
Okay, hold it. I'll go get the little things.
Got it.
Is that about how snug you want them?
No, I'm snug.
Fixture.
That's good.
I'm glad we added these lights. The 2 lights by this back garage door look so good. Believe it or not, we were initially not planning on putting any lights on this wall, but we're so happy that we changed our mind and added them because it would have looked really plain back here. We would have just had our electric meter, but now it looks a lot more complete and we'll have some light on this back wall. We have 3 fixtures that are on this back wall. All of them are next to man doors, so they are a little bit smaller than the light fixtures up front and on the side near the garage doors. So we'll have 1 by this man door at the base door, and then 2 on either side of our French door. For the man door light fixtures on the back of the house, we mounted these pre-assembled siding blocks before we put the siding on, and it comes with this little plastic trim ring, but the block itself is not huge, and we didn't really know what lighting we were going to use at that time. So of course, when we got our lighting, the first thing we did was mock it up to these, and the light escutcheon plate is taller than our lighting block. So we had to get creative in a solution. So the first thing that came off was the cheesy little plastic trim plate, and I got some scrap PVC sheet from the dormer siding out front and made these guys. This is basically a little cover plate that will slip over this. We'll run a bead of caulk around the back side of this to weather seal it, and it fits perfectly over top this box. And the front of this block is large enough to completely cover the back of the escutcheon plate. We can then run a bead of sealant around that, and we have a weatherproof box. Just gonna put a nice generous bead, a big stretch around the back circle. This one will be nice and light for you. I mean, I'm not even all the way in.
We're sending it.
Send it.
The last 2 lights to install are the lights next to the French door, and I have to do those both up on a ladder. These are going to be extra tricky because I don't have my helper to help support them while I wire them up before we mount them. Freaking military planes take every day. Every day these A-10s are flying over. We must be on some Air Force training route or something. I've mentioned it before. I've had a B-52 bomber fly overhead. Just like, it probably was barely 1,000 feet in the air. It was really scary. So I've already got the mounts up there on the boxes, and I also wanted to wait till we had our LED light bulbs in. We just got a pack of basic LED tungsten looking warm white bulbs on Amazon. I'll put the link up if you're interested in seeing exactly what these are. But I wanted to pre-install these as I mounted the fixture because I didn't want to climb the ladder again to just put in a light bulb. So we'll see how this goes. Wish me luck. Hopefully I can just set this down on the top of the ladder. That would be ideal. I think that is going to work. When wiring any box up, I twist the grounds together first, then the neutrals, and then the hot. I also am a fan of pre-twisting the wires before putting a wire nut on. It seems like there's a big argument about this that's sort of ongoing, whether or not to pre-twist, and the box of the wire nuts do in fact say you don't need to pre-twist to make this work. But I just think it works better. I think it looks better to have them kind of nicely twisted together. So I'm team pre-twist. That wasn't bad at all, setting it on top of that ladder. I think I'll probably move that same ladder over to the other side to be able to do the same thing. Before I do that though, got the old big stretch loaded up in my Diamondback, what do they call this? The DB Sax is what this is. It's working as my caulk carrier today. I'm gonna run a bead of caulk around it and then I'll be on to the next one. These couch cushions have been great. I have ladder bumpers too, but I found the couch cushions are even softer and provide a really good grip. The last step for all the fixtures is to put a small bead of sealant on the top and sides to prevent any water from getting in the junction box. We'll leave the bottom open to provide a drainage path in case any water does get in.
Oh yeah, that's nice with the tape.
Clean line.
Clean line, except the base. Look at the base. There's a little bit sticking out there.
I'll have to wipe that off later.
That looks really good.
She approved.
I approve.
All three man door lights in the back are caulked. They look fantastic. All we have left to do now is caulk the 5 garage door lights up front, and we will be totally done with our Progress light install. I just had to point this out. I thought this was so cool, the power of surface tension on water. Look at that. There's a wall of water on the edge of this fixture. There we go, we can break it a little bit. On every horizontal edge. Watch the ripple. It's amazing. Ripples like a pond. I think the benefit of Big Stretch being a little bit thinner than other sealants, such as like OSI, Quad Max is another one I've used, is that it tools really easily, and it also cleans up really easily because it's water-based. So I always just use my finger to tool it. On the Quad Max container, it specifically tells you not to tool it. I really don't know the chemical reason why, but Big Stretch completely allows you to tool it. It even says on the tube you can use your finger. So that's what I do, just with a wet pinky finger. Run a quick bead down. Wipe my excess on a rag. Now here's the satisfying part, peeling the tape off. Look at that. Tape comes off beautifully and we have a nice, clean, sharp line. With one steady press on the trigger and consistent movement, you can get a pretty good bead. It's not a fantastic example because my end is not cut that great. The circuit for these is not connected to the main panel, so unfortunately we can't turn these on. You'll have to stay tuned for a future update of what these look like at night. With the front 3 fixtures sealed up, we are totally done our exterior decorative light install, and Elena even had some time to make some natural holiday decor to put over them for the holiday season. Big thanks to Progress Lighting for sending these lights out. We are beyond pleased with how they look, and install was a total breeze. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.